in front of God and country. You said, quote, they, referring to Republicans, think they can troll their way into us accepting ethnic cleansing.
Jeez, guys.
End quote. Your words, not mine. Did I read that correctly?
That was in regard to a Department of Homeland Security post about advocating 100 million deportations. That is what DHS has tweeted from their own account. 100 million deportations would be ethnic cleansing. You would be removing one.
Senator John Kennedy confronted an immigration witness over post calling mass deportations ethnic cleansing, a population purge. And then the witness defended it on the record.
Secretary Wolf, thank you for your service. Why, in your opinion, do so many, not all, but so many of my Democratic colleagues believe in open borders?
Well, it's a good question. I think it's a couple of different fronts. One, it would be they don't believe in immigration law. They don't like enforcement. They don't like removing of individuals. And they believe that there are some that believe that anyone and everyone should be able to come to the U.S., whether they apply for protections under U.S. law or not. And then there's some probably that would like to see more voters in the U.S. as well.
Ms. Vaughn.
Census.
Some of my colleagues, for whom I have great respect, believe that the 10th Amendment allows local governments to ignore federal immigration law and implement sanctuary policy. The Supreme Court has ruled that racial quotas represent a pernicious form of racial discrimination. Can local governments ignore that ruling under the 10th Amendment?
Well, the 10th Amendment is about...
Can just answer my question, please, ma'am.
The 10th Amendment is about commandeering, and so it's not really appropriate to this because...
Is the answer yes or no, ma'am?
Could you ask me again? Because I don't understand the relevance to... I'm sorry, I don't... Because ICE is not asking them
Secretary Wolf, you heard my question. Under the guise of the 10th Amendment, can local governments ignore a Supreme Court ruling?
I don't believe they can.
Okay. Women have the right to vote in America by statute and by constitutional interpretation. Under the guise of the 10th Amendment, can local governments just ignore that and prohibit women from voting?
No.
No.
Okay. Mr. Duke, you worked for...
well played on that.
President Biden and Vice President Harris, didn't you?
Yes.
Very well played.
And I listened carefully to your testimony today. You expressed, well, you offered the opinion that the One Big Beautiful Bill is terrible in part because it will cause deficits. Is that right?
Yes.
Isn't it a fact that the profligacy of President Biden caused 9% inflation in America?
No.
Okay. Isn't it a fact that if President Biden had discovered life on Mars when he was president, he would have immediately sent it money?
I don't believe so.
Oh, you don't?
Probably.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your newly found fiscal conservatism.
Right.
Mr. Beer, you seem to be a very smart guy, and you seem to be a nice enough guy.
Thank you, Senator. You seem smart as well.
Object.
Don't.
That was the chairman, not me.
Don't you think your hyperbolic statements undermine your credibility?
What hyperbolic statement did I make?
Here we go.
On February the 11th, 2026, you posted on BlueSky, quote, my words, or your words, not mine.
Let's hear it, guys.
The Democrats' video telling service members to ignore illegal orders didn't go far enough. They should have also urged them to refuse unethical orders, whether illegal or not. There are many things deemed legal that are still obviously unethical, and everyone should hold themselves to this higher law.
Everyone.
End quote. Did I read that correctly?
I believe you did. Do you disagree with it? You think people should do unethical things in their capacity?
On December the 31st of 2025, you posted in front of God.
But wait. Do you disagree with what I said?
Let me finish my question.
I'm
You've
sorry.
answered, sir.
Sure.
In front of God and country. You said, quote, they, referring to Republicans, think they can troll their way into us accepting ethnic cleansing.
Jeez, guys.
End quote. Your words, not mine. Did I read that correctly?
That was in regard to a
Did I
Department of
read
Homeland
that?
Security
Did I read
post
that?
about advocating 100 million deportations. That is what DHS has tweeted from their own account. 100 million
Right.
Truth
deportations
hurts, doesn't
would
it?
be
What's the problem?
ethnic cleansing. You would be
Truth hurts,
removing
doesn't it?
1/3 of the country. So yes, there
Truth
are
can
people
just
within the
gut you like
Department
a
of
fish.
Homeland
And
Security.
you don't think this is hyperbolic? Give me 30 more seconds.
I think advocating 100 million deportations is
I'm having fun here, Mr.
ethnic
Chairman.
cleansing.
On February
Yes.
5th, you quoted you said the following on BlueSky.
Your time's
Quote,
up.
These are all good, but there's
Your time
no
is
enforcement mechanism. I'm sorry. Let me try a better one. On March 2nd, you said, quote, if you rule against Trump's population purge agenda, no hyperbole there,
No
the
need.
nativists will name you, threaten you, and come after you. These judges are much braver than the ICE agents who hide behind masks while violating the Constitution.
They are
Close
much
quote.
braver. They put their names on their rulings and they stand behind their constitutional rulings. When I talk about population purge, I'm talking about the fact that they're trying to deport
Bro, cut his mic.
U.S.-born citizens, people born here. They are trying to deport them as well. So it's not a mass deportation agenda. It is also an agenda intended to reduce the population of the United States, including U.S.-born people.
thank
So
you.
these are not
Wait.
hyperbolic statements. I appreciate you reading
Thank
my
you.
account. I appreciate
Here's
your
the good
research.
news.
What planet did you just, wait a minute, Mr. Chairman, what planet did you just parachute in from?
No. Hey, guys.
You trigger my gag reflex, Mr. Beaver.
Whenever you have words that are so egregious and you then put them out there for the world, please do not be surprised if they're kind of thrown back at you at any time of the day here. I would say this is probably one of the better receipts of some of the absolutely reprehensible things that generally are being promoted on the left side of the political sphere right now. But let's get into one of the only things that he said here that would absolutely, in fact, be somewhat of a constitutional issue here. That will end up being the anchor baby issue. Understand that's not the majority, but of course, when a Democrat speaks, he's going to go after the 1 or 2% of whatever the issue is to basically make it seem like the entirety of the overarching issue here is representative within that 1 or 2% of whatever they're talking about here. If an American-born person is being deported, that's a constitutional issue. I can understand, I can see where that's going to go there. The rest of them, what are we arguing for, guys? And this is one of the reasons why it's really hard for me to partake in listening deeply to whatever the Democrat Party is saying, because they seem to only live within the realm of exceptions here. But as long as the governor is not pushing that hard against the local sanctuary city, what can we really seriously do large scale, right? I mean, that's just a conversation that's like, it's going to be cyclical and we're not really going to get anything that's actually beneficial from that argument. It's just going to make everyone angrier, right? But again, anger sells things, so maybe that's the point. But let's finalize this here. The idea of morals and ethics is a tricky thing here because that's generally super subjective here, right? Like, I mean, if you want to find the most glaring issue here, the right absolutely has no interest in the deletion of babies, okay? The left does, all right? The right says this is morally reprehensible. The right says we should be able to use this like birth control on a Saturday night. I don't know. That's basically how that works here. So morals and ethics are highly subjective based on who in fact is looking at said incident here. So that's that's another interesting thing here. Morally, I would say you don't break into someone else's country because you can't break into theirs. Right? That's my personal opinion, at least. Ethically, if you break into the country, of course, you are going to be met with accountability. That accountability is you getting deported back to your country. You see where I'm going with this here, guys? But the left is not really talking about ethics when it comes to this. They're talking about empathy, specifically when it comes to this. They're saying, oh, look at how much money we have here. Look at how much money they don't have there. So let's give as much money as humanly possible. That gives the reference point of when Kennedy said, if Biden found Martians on Mars, the first thing he would do is send the money. That's that reference. Okay, that's it. It's just blind empathy for the sole purpose of being empathetic while no one has anything to say about how every single country basically takes advantage of us with tariffs, guys. But if we bring that up, we're the bad guys. But I get it. Don't worry. If you are someone who happens to live in other places and you're an American and you're missing something that's from America, right? You can't just go to the store and buy said thing along with other countries' products because they're going to 10x the price of whatever you're trying to buy. I know this because I live half the year in the south of Spain. A Barks root beer used to cost me, like in a can, used to cost me something like $7 for a 16-ounce can because I missed occasionally like a root beer soda, bro. Understand this here. While I can go to the farmer's market and basically buy something from Spain in America, right next to whatever I was going to buy in the first place in terms of price. Okay, so we have a problem, bro. All right, fix that. Then we could talk about the idea of empathy. But listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. But in the meantime, guys, I'll go and catch you guys later.